Yeah.
Yeah, I just hang on to them till the end of the semester. Real quick, guys. So I want to point something out. You guys, I changed our calendar up on the wall over there.
Oh, nice.
The reason I did that was so that you guys realize that when we get back from Christmas break, we technically only have like 5 days or 8 days of school left before exams. So like we're getting really close to the end of the semester. It's not to stress you out, it's just to let you guys know that staying on top of things is going to be important. So those of you guys thinking of retaking tests still, please do not wait till the very end. Especially since you might forget things over breaks and trying to get things taken care of this week. And we do have normal AR on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week, because Thursday is our weird, like, take time away from you guys AR. So just because it's the last day before break, we figured hopefully not many people had a ton of homework. So, let me, I think so. I don't know if we necessarily have it out, but I would guess so. I think it's where there's 2 on one day and 2 on another, but
I know.
yeah, this week we would have probably that Thursday. Okay. Okay, guys, so let's talk about number 7. So in number 7 here, this is one of those, I can't remember if I talked to you guys about it, but I know we've talked about ones like this before. When we do this, and guys, I really suggest following along and doing these with us, making sure you guys are understanding. For when I see something like this, I think of it to kind of think of something similar to that in algebraic form. And you don't have to actually show that you're doing this, but I'd like you to think about it that way, that each of these terms have the same thing. They both have a sine squared, just like these both have an x squared. So I can pull that out. I can't just choose to put those sine squareds together, even though you might want to, but they're not like terms. So I'm going to pull a sine squared out of the parentheses, or I'm going to put parentheses in and pull that out. If I take that out, then I have to divide it out of each term. Just like I would in the algebra example up there. Again, that's kind of why we did that algebra practice at the start of this chapter. This would be 1 plus y squared. So I take this sine squared out, whoops, so left with 1. And then the sine squared's gone from there, and then I'm left with cotangent squared. Now, hopefully, again, going back to your salmon sheet, this would be something that'd be good to, again, put all this stuff on your note card. 1 plus cotangent squared is something you should know, that's cosecant. That's just a fact we know. And then cosecant we also know is a fact that that's 1 over sine squared. And they'll both cancel, so it's just going to equal 1. All right, sounded like, again, number 14 was one that a lot of people had trouble on. So if you want to flip there, otherwise if somebody else has another pressing one that we can talk about, we can come back to them still. I just want to get a majority. Those of you guys who got a ton of these right, were there any other right here that we should go over right now? You're dying to see the second. I will come back to everything. But someone else said 14 was frequently asked about. Anything else right now?
Wait. Are we doing all those? No, we're just doing 7 to 14, right?
I might do more of them. I might kind of keep going. I'm just trying to see where people are at. You guys, if it's on a worksheet like this, it's possible it's going to be on our test. So we have to make sure you guys are asking for help if you're not understanding. So if you had all those questions, I don't mind going through them. But at the same time, once you're good, then let me know. But obviously there's a lot of questions. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Somebody say something. All right, so I'm going to go to 14, but again, we'll kind of pick and choose from our list, and I'll kind of keep working up here. So now sine and then cotangent, tangent, I have 4 different trig functions. I'd like to try to get them down to a few different ones, so I don't really know to go with this, so I changed it to sine and cosine. So cotangent is going to be cosine over sine. Tangent is sine over cosine. And so I'm going to distribute it in here. So, and this is over 1 right now. Now I'm probably showing more steps than you'd want to, but I notice now that these two cancel. This is like over 1 then. Then here, this becomes sine squared. Sine times sine. Now, in order to be able to put these together, I need a common denominator. So I'm going to switch this. The first one needs the cosine. If it needs it on the bottom, it needs it on the top as well. So this becomes cosine squared. Again, because I had 2 fractions and I want to get it down to 1 because that's all that's on the other side. And then at this point, I can add them. The top, cosine squared plus sine squared equals just 1. So the top becomes 1. The bottom is just cosine because I'm adding common denominators. I just add the tops, and 1 over cosine is secant. I'm sure there's other ways to do this one, but that's the way I did it. It's the way that made sense to me. So I chose that way to go about it. All right, maybe somebody else who's got a lot of these figured out. Is there something else which one should we go over? Someone who's confident that they're doing well in most of these, where should we go next?
21.
19? 21? 19? Let's go 19 right now.
Oh yeah, let's do 19. I just need to figure out the addition and subtraction. That's confusing.
Oh, both 19 and 21 are ones that I got common denominators for. I think 21 is a little more obvious. 19 was a little bit where I was like, really, that's what I'm going to do? Like, I kind of wondered if that seemed like a good idea. But again, if it's 2 fractions and it's becoming 1, it's like a single term, it's probably likely that we want common denominators. Even though that's not very helpful in this, like it's not an easy one. Because 1 plus cosine and then sine. When we do this, I can't just add a 1 on. I have to multiply it by what the other one has. So this one has to get multiplied by sine. But I'm already kind of realizing that this is kind of a good thing because I have sine squared on top. It's kind of a thing that I know already is going to be a good thing. But then this one needs the 1 plus cosine. And then 1 plus cosine on the top. It's a little bit hard to show right now what's going on. So the left side's not bad. Sine times sine is going to be sine squared. I'm going to leave the bottom factored. I don't know if it's helpful, and I usually kind of wait to see if it gets me anywhere. So I'm going to leave it factored because it's just easier than having to distribute again. Now up over here, I have foiling I have to do. So I have to do first out or inner last. So 1 times 1, cosine times 1 is cosine. Cosine times 1 is cosine. And then cosine times cosine is cosine squared. All right. So now on our top over here, I have some things I can put together. So cosine and cosine is going to be 2 cosine. And then we have common denominators. So I have 1 plus 2 cosine of x. Now the sine squared and cosine squared, it's going to equal 1 together, right? Because sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. So, are we okay with what I did so far? Where I got both the 1's from, and cosine plus cosine is like 2 cosines. And so 1 plus 1 is going to be 2. All right, so I want something else to match, and I see there's 2's here. So that makes me think, again, if I saw this in another problem, if I had 2 plus 2x, I would say, oh, I'm just going to factor out a 2. Once we throw cosine and sine into that, for whatever reason, that's confusing. So I'm going to factor out a 2. I'm going to take a 2 out of each of those. Now, hopefully, you see that 1 plus cosine gets to cancel. And this is one of the ones that I think some of you guys get to the end and you don't even realize you're at the end. Because we have 2 over sine of x. This is really like 2 plus, or 2 times 1 over sine of x. It's the same thing. If I write it that way, I think it's more obvious to you guys to know that 1 over sine is cosecant, and it's going to be 2 times the cosecant. So just that you guys realize that this is the same thing as breaking those up for multiplication. Because like I said, a lot of you guys, I feel like you get really close to the end and like you're done already, or you're like 1 step away, and it's just that you don't realize that those are equivalent. So, so we're done in this case. Because 1 over sine is cosecant, it's 2 times that. All right, I was going to do 21. 21 is similar in that we're looking for those common denominators, and then I'll pause and kind of see where we're at. So if you guys could follow along with me for 21, and then I'll see what other ones you guys need to look at to get you guys ready for the test. So this is another one, again, 2 fractions down to 1 term. So I think of a conjugate. Now in this one, I like this one better. Or I think of common denominators, but I said conjugate already because I can tell that if I multiply the opposites by like the opposite denominator, that's actually a conjugate. And remember, we like conjugates, they cancel. So I'm going to multiply by the opposite denominator to each of these. Now don't lose that minus sign in there. Careful with that. So up here, I'm going to have cosine of x minus cosine sine of x. Oh, sorry, that one should be plus. Thank you. I told you not to watch out for the negative, and then I used it in the wrong place. Yes, it should be plus. Thank you. Now on the bottom, this is conjugate. So I know those 2 middle terms are going to cancel. If you don't need to write that, I'm fine with you skipping it. But I know that's going to happen every time. This is minus up here now. And I'm going to write the same denominator over here. Now this is where I said to be careful about the negative. this whole thing is being subtracted. So I have cosine minus cosine because of this negative. So this becomes a negative cosine here, cosine of x, and then a positive cosine x sine of x. So the cosines are going to cancel, cosine minus cosine. But I have one cosine sine, one cosine sine, so I'm going to be left with two cosine sines. So, are you okay with the cosines canceling?
Yeah,
So-
what is that line of underneath?
So I was just distributing this in, I was trying to show you what was in there when I distribute that in. So that's a negative cosine, but then a positive 1 cosine sine. So this is 1 and 1, so that's where the two cosine sines come from. Because there's 1 here and 1 here, which is technically on the top up there. Now on the bottom, I have 1 minus sine squared, which hopefully you guys realize is cosine squared. Again, the better you guys can get with just knowing these without having to look at your sheet all the time is the easier these are actually. I mean, again, it's kind of like translating a language that I just know that that equals the same thing. Now there's a cosine on top and a cosine squared on the bottom, so I'm going to lose just one of them. And again, this becomes one like the last one, where really this is just 2 times sine over cosine, which is just 2 times tangent. Alright, so let's take a minute to see where we're at in terms of like how many we've done and then how many we still need, some people need to see. So we've done those, I don't know. Might have been it for right now. Alright, so let me do announcements quick before I forgot. I forgot them like once or twice last week. And then we can decide if you guys need, and I'm fine going through all of those if we need to, but also I want to let some of you guys work if you're ready.
What else?
So basketball tonight is versus Kohler. Esports practice is canceled for today. The wrestlers finished 4th overall at the Fond du Lac Invite on Saturday. Congrats to place winners: Chase 7th, Grant 3rd, David 2nd, Stone 3rd, Torrin 3rd, Sam 1st. Wait, no, Sam. Jordan 4th. Sam hit his 100th career win as well. Great job. In JV action, Cole, Elijah, and Natron and Van led with 2nd place finishes. Did you hear about the restaurant on the moon? There's great food but no atmosphere. My wife said I should do lunges to stay in shape. That'd be a big step forward. I like the moon one, I saw lunges. Alright. Tuesday, tomorrow is Christmas Character Day. Dress up like your favorite seasonal character from song, film, pop culture. Wednesday is Whiteout Day. Wear as much white as you can. Thursday is Cozy for Christmas Day. Wear your fuzziest socks with your scarves and hats.
I feel like this week is going so slow, we get so fast.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, I still have.
I cannot believe Christmas is this week.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Christmas.
Alright. I know, because I think I asked if the boys had a basketball game on Saturday, and Mr. Ryan was like, it's Christmas. And I'm like,
We have basketball practice Christmas Eve.
Why? I don't have any.
oh, because you guys go away between
Yeah, on 28th and 29th, we're like.
Once they're together, they probably have
I would
one
go.
stay though.
No.
I can
So
work.
it's on, so.
All right, there'll be
I wanna
forensics
have
meeting tomorrow, Tuesday, December 21st, in Mr. Olson's room.
It's because Buddy don't.
The amount
You guys,
the resident said no practice on Christmas Eve or Christmas.
if you'd like to be part of the tech crew, backstage lights or sound for I Hate Shakespeare, email Miss Weicker, B. Weicker, with your area of interest. Students are reminded to turn in any overdose books to the library before the holiday break. Hatchet Club is going to Sunburst sledding on January 14th from 12 to 3 p.m. The cost is $20 if you've not paid your dues. If you're interested in joining us and you're not in Hatchet Club, see Miss Weeks for more information. Just a reminder, after the Christmas break, you have to drop off in the front for the workout center in the morning. Oh, guys, real quick here. This is probably important for some of you guys. You should listen here. Wednesday, 10:30 to 11:30. The counseling office is hosting a career event about registered apprenticeships and careers in the trades, such as electricians, plumbers, tool and die makers, pipe fitters. If you have any interest in these areas or other career trades, see Mr. Brewer in the counseling office for a pass. This is likely the only career event in our building for the trades this year because the speakers are coming some distance to meet with us from the Appleton area. Please take the initiative to learn more about gainful employment in these areas. Guys, if you have any interest in those, I know of multiple tool and die makers who are retiring way earlier than I ever will. So if you're ever thinking about any of those aspects of those jobs, go check it out. So please don't miss out. Yeah, like we have a friend that like his house is paid off and he's going to retire like this year. So yeah, so smart. That's on Wednesday. And that's 10:30 to 11:30. So it's during part of your second hour class. So there's some more incentive to get out. And then yeah, I think that's about it.
Come to the boys basketball game tonight.
Yeah,
We'll be there.
I'll be there.
be there, be square. Okay.
I'll be there. Diego, not the bonus court tile.
When Reese came into my class today, I'm like, I saw someone wearing that exact outfit. Like I was trying to it came to me, but I was a fun person. It's legit. I love the notes. All right. So guys, is anyone else? I'm guessing more of you guys. Are you guys ready for the worksheet?
I'm ready.
Okay. Oh, I've been recording this whole time.